Good evening, friends, fellows, and countrymen. We have another update again on the Philippine travel ban. It looks like the Philippine government is so uncertain of what they are doing. One day we ban, we don't ban, we ban, we don't ban. Anyways, the latest bulletin is that FilAms who are not dual citizens are again banned from entering the Philippines. And that's because the United States has just been added as of January 3 to the list of 21 countries that are subject to the Philippine travel ban. Ironically, in that list, China is missing. China is not one of the 21 countries that are subjected to the travel ban, but the United States is in that list. And Luxin and whoever is in charge can have their own explanation about mutant virus, mutating virus, or whatever. But the fact is, China, where the virus come from, is not banned, and the United States is banned. You can Google and read the whole document issued by the Bureau of Immigration and released by the Office of the President. But to summarize, it simply says that if you come from any of the 21 banned states and you are not a Filipino citizen, then you cannot come into the Philippines. And that includes Filipino Americans who are not dual citizen. If you are not a holder of a Philippine passport, then you cannot come into the Philippines. But that's only for the duration of this ban, which is from January 3 to January 15. That is, if they do not extend this ban. So all people who are not Filipinos, not holder of Philippine passports, which includes foreigners with 9E visa or 9A visa or whatever visa you have, even if it's a diplomatic visa like the 9E visa, then you cannot come into the Philippines for this duration of time, January 3 to January 15. Even if you are not from any of the 21 banned countries, if you have traveled to these countries within the past 14 days prior to your trip to the Philippines, then you are not allowed to enter the Philippines. Okay? So even if you are an Israeli or from Israel and you have taken a trip to the USA or any of the 21 banned states in the past 14 days and then you want to come to the Philippines, you are not allowed to enter the Philippines. Okay? Now, if you are just transmitting or transitioning to any of the 21 banned states, then you can still come in, provided that when you transition in that banned state, you did not go out of the airport. You did not sought entry and you were not granted entry into the territory of that banned state where you are simply transitioning or changing flight to the Philippines. So you can still be admitted entry into the Philippines, of course, subject to the rules of quarantine, etc. Now, the rule is different if you are a Filipino citizen or a FilAm with a dual citizenship. Because in that case, you can enter the Philippines. And it doesn't matter if you have originated from any of the 21 banned states or if you have traveled to any of the 21 banned states within the past 14 days or if you have transitioned and gained entry into any of the 21 banned states. Of course, when you get into the Philippines, you will be subjected to the requirement of quarantine, whatever, or however you pronounce it. And your option for quarantine, and that is both for foreigners and Filipinos who arrived in the Philippines, is that you could quarantine for 14 days in a government facility, which is free, but we already know what government facility means in the Philippines. You should be ready with the cockroaches and all. Or you could quarantine at any of the designated and recognized stringent hotels which are listed by the Philippine government. But that is of your own expense, which is not very cheap. But you will have better accommodation and better privacy.